listened to, that they paid attention to, that they nurtured, and then they took that risk and they used courage to live the dream that they were meant to live the life, that they were meant to live. And so for 14 years, after doing 10 years with J.J. Clark in the weather department, I did 14 years with this handsome guy, doing regional contact, roaming the valley, and collecting these beautiful stories. And along the way, I learned a lot. I learned about myself, and I learned more about my mission. Then I saw the movie and read the book, The Secret. Who's heard that? Heard of the book? Seen the movie? So you understand that it's based on what's called the law of attraction. And the law of attraction simply states that what you think about and focus your attention on is what grows and expands in your life. So, if you're a complainer, guess what's coming your way? And if you're a person who chooses to focus on what's good and what's working, guess what's coming your way too? So I was very inspired by this movie and book, but I felt it really was just an introduction to this, what is called a secondary universal law. It's not made up airy-fairy stuff. This is science we're talking about, cause and effect. But I felt we needed to know more. I wanted to know more. So I read a book called The Law of Attraction by Michael Lozier. He's a Canadian author. And then I went to see him speak. And the night I saw Michael speak, he said this: "We humans are really good at coming up with a list of things we want. We're just not always available to receive it." Bam! That was it. Don't ask me why. I knew I had to understand why we weren't available to receive what it is we say we want. So I started a research group over 21 months. There were 11 of us all together. The 12th space was for inspiration. And I would come every month with a different subject. The first time it was gratitude. Let's talk about this thing, gratitude. So we'd talk and talk, and by the end of 2 hours, these women would leave that room like walking on air. We were so excited. And I said, go and practice with this concept of gratitude. When we come back, I want you to report back on what you're discovering about life. And I started to notice over time. The next one was courage. Then surrender, all the stuff that doesn't serve you. Forgiveness, having healthy boundaries. These are the subjects in my book. And by the end of 21 months, I felt that the group's work was done. I felt I had to get writing my book. I'd never written a book. I had no idea what I was doing. But I just knew I had to get going. Get going. So I started writing my book and doing regional contact. We had the summer off. So I'd sit at my computer, and I was fully conscious. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't really even know what I was talking about. But I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. And one of my good friends is also a journalist and a really great writer. I love her. And she took my stuff and she helped me edit a little bit. And it came back to me and I was like, this makes complete sense to me. How does that work? So I decided to publish the book myself, which I did. And right around that time, just before I decided to publish the book, CTV Ottawa said, big meeting, guys, we're changing the business model. We're taking the half-hour regional contact show. We're going to squish it down to 2-minute stories. We're going to put them in the newscast a couple of days a week. So Kathie, 1 week you'll do 4 stories, and Joel, you'll do 3, and then next week we'll flip that. So I did the math. And in 1 month, we would do as many stories as we did in a season. And you still had to travel all over the valley. You still had to do all the legwork. And I thought, you know something? I've got this thing I'm working on. I know I'm going to do it. Why not do it now? There is no good time to live your dream. The time is now. The time is always when you think you're not ready. You just have to say yes to it. So I went to the boss and I thanked him, for giving me that news. And he was like, well, I've had a few conversations with people over the last few weeks about this change. Nobody else has come to thank me. And I said, but I feel I have to do what I have to do. And so I published my book. And while I was getting ready to do the book, I thought, what if it's just me and my happy little group? What if this doesn't make any sense to anybody else? So I made it up. I called it The Course in Happiness, and I gave it away to some friends. I said, come on and join me. Michelle Valberg, one of my best friends, has a photo studio. It's very casual and comfortable. Let's meet there and let's just go through this and see if it makes sense to you. And it did. And then I started to charge a little bit of money for it. And then I started to charge a little bit more for it. And I'm shocked, happy, pleased, so happy that today at least 5 ladies in this room are graduates of that workshop. and are part of what I call the Inspiration in Action community, because people who've taken the course are now part of this network. And we are all about it. We're all about being grateful. We're all about having the courage to stand in the truth of who we are, which is that each and every one of you is magnificent. You're just a chip off the old block. So it's not all about your big fat ego head. It really is that you are, as Rumi says, not a drop in the ocean, but you are the mighty ocean in a drop. So that divine power, that power greater than you, whatever you call it that you believe in, and I hope you do, that's who you are. And when you step into the truth of who you are, you recognize, this is just coming through me, people. I can't take ownership and responsibility. As I say, I'm just the faucet for it. I'm just the messenger. And it happens to come through blonde and 5-ish feet, slightly under 5 feet, 5-ish feet. But, you know, I have stepped into my own magnificence because I recognize this is my job now. This is my mission, my passion, is to help people know they're not alone. You're not alone. We all have the same, you've heard it here today, anxiety about how you look. Well, if you focus on what's wrong all the time, guess what? More wrong is going to show up. You've got to choose it. Happiness is a choice. And to me, happiness is about living a life of purpose and meaning and service. Being of service in this world is the most important thing in your life. And so figuring out, and when you do, it's like, I just hit my stride. At 64, I say to people now, I feel I'm just hitting my stride. Isn't that funny? It's so awesome. But then my friend Gary Vaynerchuk, who's not my friend, but just like Joseph Ribkoff isn't my boyfriend, Gary Vaynerchuk says, you know, nobody cares if you're 30, 50, 70, 93. We don't care. Learn the stuff and go and do it. So I constantly educate myself. I'm interested in everybody, and that's just how I live now. I'm passionate. I love my life, and I want to inspire you to do the same thing. So then, see? Joseph Ribkoff. Oh yeah, remember that night, Julie Bune? Remember that night? Okay, so I slapped this slide in there because I am vertically challenged, happy, super happy to be tiny. It's been a great gift in my life. But who at just under 5 feet tall is invited to walk the runway at Fashion Week? And so on the last night of the last Fashion Week that was held in Ottawa, there was a celebrity fashion show as a fundraiser, and I was invited to join. And I wasn't working in media anymore, so I thought, well, that's really cool that they invited me. I'm going to say yes. So I went to the fitting, and the only thing they could find was this, because, you know, everything came down here. It just didn't really work on me. So we found this one dress, and I mean, pink is my favorite color. I was like, this is awesome. So in the middle of my vision board, I put the word model, because I want to be a good role model for people. That's what I want to be. I want to model what it looks like to feel happy, to be happy. And I wasn't really anticipating this happening. And then I went off to a course in California the next day. I felt so good having done that, because it took courage to walk down, you know, I mean, girls are walking down the runway and you've got this. You've seen the videos, right? And I'm thinking, that's me. That could be me with the heels. Anyway, it went well, and I went off to California to do this training, and I got a message from the head of Fashion Week. And he said, look, I was in Montreal meeting with the Ribkoff people, and they wanted to know who they should be dressing in Ottawa. And I said, you. Really? So now, bonjour, my new boyfriend, Joseph, and I. So when you have to be very clear with your vision board, is what I'm saying. I was very clear about that in the middle, wasn't I? Model. So now I joke that I'm a Ribkoff model. Some people say ambassador. I like to say model. But that's just the way it goes. And so I'm telling you guys, you watch what's going on in your head, because that's what's showing up in your life, and you know it. So the course in happiness was bumping along, everything was going well. I started working on my next book, which comes out in the new year. Had this idea last August. Thank you, Meryl, thank you. It's about courage. It's all about courage. Had this idea last August. Don't know where these things come from, but if you don't act on them, they go away, I know that for sure. So I said to my husband, who's a marketing genius, I said, look, I had this idea to do a one-day event. I think people need to refresh their passion. And I went, that's the name of it. We were on a walk. I said, that's what it's called. It's called Refresh Your Passion. Because again, going back to this idea, I want people to feel comfortable. I want them to go to an event where they're going to meet like-minded individuals, where it's not soulless, where they're going to be inspired by speakers who I choose, who are resonant with my message, body, mind, spirit, business. So remember I said earlier, maybe you don't, but we're not just business people, we're people first, and we have a body, mind, and a spirit. And then we're business people. If we don't take care of the people part, we ain't no good in business. And I'll tell you something else. People are watching your energy in business. Just ask my friend Susan Bashares. When you bring it, when you bring your joy, your passion, your love, Susan, it's true, when you bring your love, your passion, your joy, people are like, I want to be part of your thing. Because they want to connect, we want to connect with like-minded people. We want to lift one another. Remember we talked about, we are intuitive. It's our natural way to be collaborative, to lift one another. So that's what this event became. And next Sunday we're doing our third, and I'm taking it to Brockville in November because I see there's a need for it. People want this. I said to a woman not long ago who's been a great gift in my life, and me and hers, apparently she came to Refresh Your Passion very reluctantly. She said, I'm not going to that. I'm going to do it. She came to the event. I said to her later, because we were collaborating on a project, I said, you know, the thing is that I'm a bit concerned because I know as a business person I'm supposed to follow the money, and it really hasn't been making me the money I was expecting it to, like, instantly. And she said, pardon my language, I don't give a shit. It changed my life. You keep doing that. And I said, yeah, okay, I hear you now. So Refresh Your Passion really is one of the things I'm very proud of. We're going to keep doing it, and we're going to keep adding on to it. But this is my favorite philosopher, well, one of them. Dr. Seuss says, today you are you that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. And it's a fun way to say what has been said here today already, but can't be said enough. There's only one you. You're this gift to the world. That creator, whoever you believe in, didn't make random people. You're not here for no reason. You're here for a reason. And what we want to do is tap into what that is. Hang out with people who can help us. Find your people. Have a team, body, mind, spirit, and business, to help you navigate to what's important for you and how you can best serve the world. Because you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Don't forget that. Wayne Dyer, one of my favorite teachers, taught me this message. To do what you love, or to love what you do. We can't all have the dream job. Sometimes we have to pay the bills, and we have to do. One of my friends has a beautiful coaching business practice. She owns a farm, she has horses. And on occasion, she needs to take contracts to pay for everything because it gets quite expensive. And sometimes she feels like, it's not really what I want to be doing. I want to be doing my coaching. But the thing is, you've got to find something about that contract to love. Maybe it's that it keeps the lights on and the heat on in your home. Maybe it's that it provides for your children. Or maybe it allows you to pursue that passion when you're not at work. Doesn't matter. It's all about the energy you're bringing to everything. So if you're all resentful, hello, everybody listening to you. If you're crabby and bitchy, everybody listening to you. What are you creating? What do you want in your life? We all need to have that courage, right? To just take a peek underneath the surface. When we say what we want, like, oh, I want a better house, or I want a new job, that's not really what you want. You want to feel good? Dig a little bit deeper. What I want is I want abundance, beauty, joy, love, peace, prosperity, and wellness. That's what I want. And so everything in my life has to line up with that if that's what I'm going to get. So do what you love, or love what you do. Find something about the thing you have to do and love it. It's a great lesson. And we've got to get clear about what our intention is in business. Because when we don't know why we're doing what we're doing, we don't have a clear intention about why we're serving, we're kind of like a moving target. When you're clear about your intention and who you're serving and what you're serving, it makes it very easy for your market to find you. Your intention becomes your relationship with your market. So a great example is Julie Bune. Julie is a sparky chick. She's a dynamo, she's bold, she's colorful, and people know they're going to get sparky, colorful. That's what Julie Bune is. When we were talking about the brand earlier, it's very clear what Julie's intention is. She wants to elevate you. She wants to help you by doing whatever it is you guys can collaborate on. Susan Vacheresse is another great example of that. Susan said, I want to be this type of real estate agent. I'm going to make my mark here, and this is what I'm going to do, and everybody's going to know because they're going to see my mad red BMW, and they're going to know I'm all about the luxury. So it's, what is your intention when you're serving people? What do you want to do for them? When you get clear and get into your niche, nobody can touch you. It's yours. Nobody can have mine. I'm very grateful, by the way, for all the happiness books that have been coming out over the last few years because they paved the way. Nobody asks me, well, what does happiness actually mean? Because everybody's writing about it, so they've got ideas. There's a conversation happening. It's easy. When we know what our intention is and we know how we want to serve people, it makes our clients easy, makes it easy for them to find us. Doesn't that look nice? Who would like to join me right there? You gotta upgrade, upgrade, upgrade that brand. I can't tell you, being a person who's been in media for 100,000 years, when I look on social media and I see you in a slip, or you with an iPhone selfie, and you want me to hire you? Next. When you post garbage on Facebook? Next. Everything is all about your brand today. You are your brand. How you behave in public, what you wear, how you carry yourself, your language. Everything needs to reflect what it is you're trying to do. Upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. Hire a damn photographer to take a proper photograph of you. Use video on your website, but have it shot by a professional. I mean, these things are not, they're very obvious to me because of my background, but we need to upgrade constantly if we want to stay in the game and stay current. It's super important to upgrade all the time. And every couple of years, have your picture taken so that that picture you had from 10 years ago, actually, you want to look like the picture that's on social right now, too, right? So we want to stay current with all of that. And make sure that you have a LinkedIn profile that's complete and that you look good. You've got all your assets, you know, laid out right there, nice and clear, so that you two can just have a seat on the couch. A couple of girls can go on the couch, a couple in the single chairs, and we'll just have a really nice time on the top drawer jet when we're all taking off. This is great advice too from Jay Danzy, I love it. Your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card, and how you leave others feeling after having an experience with you becomes your trademark. How do you treat your customers? Do you call back promptly? Do you respond? Are you polite? Are they wrong? Never. How I feel after I'm with you is what I'm going to remember. Maya Angelou, the great American philosopher now in heaven, said, people will forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And that goes both ways. So how you make your clients feel, or potential clients feel, is going to be the trademark and the memory they're going to have of you, and that goes on the record forever. Hard to change that. So the last thing I want to say is, once you line all these things up, you know what your intention is. You're clear about the fact that you have value and worth because you know your stream, you know where you fit. All you have to do is press that old easy button. And from wherever you're sitting, just put your hand up. Press on it right now. Press on the easy button. Because then it makes it simpler. And in my experience, having left television in 2012, I was just saying earlier to Leslie that I wasn't a networker, because all that happened to me when I went to events was people said, oh, can you do a story on my uncle, or can you put me on TV? And I just couldn't deal with that, so I didn't network. But when I started to network in 2012, I really started to see where I fit and where I didn't fit. And now I know. I press the easy button. I know when to say no. And here's what I say, and you can borrow it. I've got something else on that day. Sorry. And I do. Me. Or my pajamas. Or a book. Or a job. Or something. You never have to hurt people. You can be kind and compassionate. That's something that's really important to me. And in fact, the instruction that I came away from Max Keeping's funeral on Tuesday with was, go out in the world, be kinder, more compassionate, and give. You're not giving back. You're not giving back. Give, and don't expect anything back. That's what it's all about. So I leave you with that idea, just to consider more kindness, more compassion, more of you, celebrating you and your successes, and I think you'll feel pretty awesome. So thank you for your time and attention today. I appreciate it.